Oh, nice right uppercut, left-handed, heads on Ticheli, goes down for the first time in his career.
I clearly eliminated some of the names because they were not exciting enough. They're not what I wanted.
Can Vargas finish the show? Yes, he can.
Former welterweight world champion. I think he has all the elements that I need to prove to everybody that I can be a contender at welterweight.
The face-off sold it perfectly. From a subtle smirk came a solemn stare down. Very few sports see the swift transition from close friends into bitter rivals, quite like the sweet science.
We're friends outside of the ring. We are in each other's way. So for that reason, the minute the bell rings, things change.
Though in Texas, on the 29th of February, we see exactly that. A collision of firepower,
vicious right uppercut,
character and pride, and a showdown that packs all the ingredients to match the sport's greatest ever all-Mexican showdowns.
Chavez takes it, keeps coming forward.
it's a street fight in Las Vegas.
As always, please click thumbs up, subscribe, and press the bell button to help us out as we take a closer look at a potential fight of the year contender in Mikey Garcia versus Jessie Vargas. Welcome to a Motivedia presentation. There's no doubt about it. The February clash is one for the fans. Though for Mikey Garcia, despite being one of the toughest tests of his career, it represents persistence.
Your brother Robert says you used to cry when you went to the gym.
I don't like boxing. I wasn't planning on boxing.
Why are you so good then?
And redemption. And from an illustrious 40-fight career that has seen him take on all comers, he continues to target welterweight supremacy in what would see him crown a 5-weight champion. Whilst the February matchup will be Garcia's 10th appearance in Texas as a professional, it will be his first under the Matchroom banner.
Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of the deal, he's always had a fight-by-fight deal with PBC. This is a fight-by-fight deal. If we want him, we can keep him, and we will want to keep him if he beats Jessie Vargas.
And where the Californian fighter stepped up 2 weight classes last March in his defeat to Errol Spence.
And I showed that, I have a jab, a 1-2. My boxing IQ is high, and I have a lot of different things that I bring to the table except just brute strength.
He now looks to be a bigger, stronger, and sharper version than we've ever seen.
This fight allows me to bring out the best out of me and really give my fans the full Mikey Garcia.
A powerful right-handed fighter who, with an auspicious blend of aggressiveness and patience, knows when to fight smart and when to pounce. And having had time to fill out his new 147-pound frame, will be out to prove he can not only punch at welterweight level, but dominate. In a similar fashion to that night at the AT&T Stadium, Garcia's opponent will hold all the advantages on paper. And now, 30 years old and also a 2-weight world champion, Jessie Vargas is equally adapted to the big stage. Also, in similar fashion, he represents the better side of boxing, the side we need to see more of. A consummate professional, conducting himself well and speaking respectfully.
I respect Manny as a person, as a fighter, and I'm sure that he's going to make for a great senator.
Who never backs down when the biggest opportunities materialize.
From the champion. Does it look like entering with the right hand? Pacquiao. And Vargas is bringing it. Yes, he is.
Previously trained by Hall of Famer Freddie Roach.
Freddie Roach, he's a trainer with plenty of experience, very knowledgeable.
When you first got Jessie in the gym, did you tell him anything about back when you were in the other corner and you said, why didn't you do this?
When he first came in the gym, I forgot all about that fight.
This time out in Vegas, he will be trained by one of his prodigies, Ernie Zavala, a man who will be hoping to bring the strongest, most solid version of Vargas down to 147 and to make all of his physical advantages count.
My confidence is just up here. I come into the gym and I tell my trainer, man, I feel good. I feel physically stronger than ever.
Since losing to Pac-Man 3 years ago,
and WBO welterweight champion of the world,
the Mexican-American fighter had struggled to obtain the dominant, eye-catching win to put him back in the limelight. Though, knocking out Soto in the 6th,
For a man that's not known for getting knockouts, he got the knockout against a man that's only been down once in 80 fights.
he now has everything he could wish for.
One of the things that I'm really proud of has to be this property here because I designed it. Basically made for me, has everything that I need.
And victory over Garcia on the 29th could put him back in with the sport's very best.
Mikey Garcia is a well-known fighter, and I believe that a victory against him will elevate my name much higher, and that's the reason why I took the fight.
Whilst both are of Mexican heritage, it's probably the only variable they do share as we look down the tail of the tape. And it's only here where the size difference and the challenge presented to Garcia really becomes apparent.
The key is to look for some of the weaknesses that he might have. Reach advantage, my height advantage. I have to use all those.
With just 2 years separating the two, Vargas boasts a 5-inch height and 3-inch reach advantage. And fighting at junior middle, he is naturally 3 weights heavier.
My career will not be done until I become a 4-division world champion. That's how I see it. 47 and then 54 and then 60.
Realistically, he could enter the ring at around 170 pounds on the night, putting another 15 to 20 pound weight advantage in his favor. Size-wise, the difference will be very similar to that of Vargas' last opponent, an even greater size disadvantage than Garcia faced against Spence. Where Jessie holds more amateur experience with a 120 to 20 amateur record, in contrast to Garcia's 48-12.
My first amateur fight, 14, and one of the kids didn't have an opponent, and my brother just signed me up and said, "You're getting in the ring." All right, so I got in the ring.
Mikey has the greater experience in the paid ranks and has a style much more suited.
Catches Garcia with a left hook.
And the way he performed tonight.
Boy, can that man box. I mean, I was impressed from start to finish. I'd never seen in all the tapes that I've saw of Mikey him box like that.
Despite all the disadvantages, it's Garcia's resume and knockout ratio that explains why he will enter as favorite. Though luckily for us, styles make fights.
I mean, a lot of people thought that Deloma was going to get washed. He actually was taking it to Vargas.
Vargas, with his substantially lower KO ratio of 33.3%, is much more of a finesse fighter, relying on pop and sharpness in his punches to negate the distance.
Vargas already throwing 76 punches. That's what to
He will look to use his size to dominate, impose his will, and to put Mikey in the same uncomfortable position that he found himself in against Spence.
You're gonna be surprised by how I'm coming out, how powerful I'm gonna be, how fast, and how technical I am as well in the inside game and the outside game.
Though where he doesn't bring that same firepower or fear factor, Garcia should be able to do his thing and let his hands go much more confidently.
After a long layoff, after my last performance, horrible performance, I lost my fight. There's a lot of questions, so I want to be able to answer those questions with this kind of fight.
In which case, his killer instinct could see him become the first man to stop Vargas in the professional ranks.
Good exchange.
and the counter left drop slip again for the first time in his career.
A claim that would sit nicely when eyeing up his next world title fight.
By a man looking to become a 5-division world champion, Mikey Garcia. How does that sound to you, 5-division champ?
I think it sounds great, don't you think? I'm happy, I'm excited,
Ultimately, the fans are in for a treat. Because of the event and the pride element, neither man is going to want to fight with too much focus on the back foot, and so any early success they do have could see the fight catch fire.
And when you're able to do what you want, and it's all working for you, and you're even having fun, you're messing around, and it's still working for you, you say, all right, well, I got everything.
He's disciplined, even-tempered, and it shows in his fight style, all those things. And that's what makes him different.
And so, where the circumstances are far removed, and it doesn't feel like the stakes are quite as high,
Because that's the moment that if I become victorious, which I plan to be, bigger and better things come.
the challenge will be no less daunting, especially since a win for either man represents a new phase in their career. Two multi-division champions with proven track records as ambassadors, entertainers, and warriors. Speed, power, and pride. Mikey Garcia versus Jessie Vargas.